Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Cutting It Close with Cliff Bailey. I am your host, Cliff Bailey, and this podcast is brought to you by listeners such as yourself. If you support us through Patreon at patreon.com/cuttingitclose. If you don't, no biggie, but it would be certainly appreciated. Donating on Patreon will get you fun perks such as going behind the scenes, getting exclusive looks at things, some swag once we get that going, and it just helps the pod keep going. Devoting more time to it instead of boring other things that don't include hearing people's stories and sharing them with you. This week we have Kelsie Greene. Now, fun story, she was a classmate of mine in our Moving Images of the Pacific this past semester. We knew each other, interacted just a little bit over the year, but it wasn't until the very last day of class when I happened to glance over and I recognized a couple podcast logos on her phone. It was, and her feed was The Nerdist and You Made It Weird with Pete Holmes, two of my favorite podcasts. So I said, excuse me, are you a fan of The Nerdist? Do you like to make it weird? And she was like, oh my gosh, yes, I love Pete Holmes. I love Chris Hardwick, blah, 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 blah. And the rest is history. We just went on about that a little bit. Then class began. And it just so happened that during the class, we got to screen a rough cut of her short film, Hele Kalei. That's a wonderful film about a Hawaii-born island girl. Wait, did I say that right? She was born in Hawaii. It's kind of autobiographical. She'll explain it in the podcast. So I'll just leave it to that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun watching that. At the end, I told her that she should be a guest on my podcast if she was willing, and she's totally willing. And she was so excited, and that was just so great to see someone enthusiastic about coming on the show without ever hearing it. And we had such a fun conversation, as you will see. If anyone demonstrates the title of this podcast, Cutting It Close, she certainly does. I mean, she gets raw. Talks about her battle with alcoholism and, a very interesting experience in Peru on a family trip to Peru with the drug ayahuasca. Gotta admit, I'm a little jealous of that. Hope to try it sometime myself. I mean, not just for the crazy experience, but, the world view changing experience, and just a really interesting story around that, and how she grew up a Haole, a white person on the island, and what that was like growing up in a primarily indigenous locale. So yeah, hope you enjoy this talk with Kelsie as much as I did. It was so fun, and we're definitely going to have her on the pod again after she locks Hele Kalei. And at the end, let's tell you where she can follow her now. Instagram, underscore comes next. You can follow her on Instagram at Kelsie_KG. That's KELSIE _KG. Also on Instagram, her film account, Hele Kalei Film. That's HELEKALEIFILM. That can also be used to look her up on Facebook, Hele Kalei Film. So definitely keep your eye on her. This chick is going places, and I don't mean that in the pejorative. This articulate, enthusiastic young woman is going places, and I got the first interview with her. I am so honored and excited, and I can't wait for you to enjoy it. Enough rambling. Here we go. Okay. Let's see. Do you want to wear headphones?
Sure, why not? The full experience.
Absolutely. I'll set up everything.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
I'm really excited. I had my first interview on Tuesday.
I saw your post about it.
Yeah. Jana.
Really cool.
Yeah, she is pretty awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was she in HIF or?
I don't know if I forget if she's had stuff in HIF. I think so.
I'll have to look her up.
Like she did the Baby Luau.
Oh, I know Baby Luau. Okay.
Yeah, that's hers. Yeah.
Gotcha. I know a bunch of the people that crewed on that.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but
I haven't had a chance to see it yet either. But she was awesome. We ended up going for like an hour and a half.
Cool.
Just talking and stuff.
Yeah. I like that, like not setting an endpoint like
right.
Holmes does, Yeah. Just letting the conversation flow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we can go ahead and begin.
I can hear myself.
Yeah, you sound okay?
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
A little bit. Okay.
Yes. Is that good?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So, shoot, I don't know where to begin. You've done Hele Kalei.
Yes,
you're a film student.
Screened it.
So yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit what it's about?
Hele Kalei is about a young Haole girl who is feeling discriminated against. She plays taiko drums, and because taiko is such a Japanese cultural experience, she feels like she's discriminated against by mostly her mother. Her mother is the antagonist in the story, and her mother wants her to pursue more Haole things. The symbol in the film is that her mom wants her to be to take over the family restaurant, and so throughout the course of the film, Kalei decides that she would rather pursue her own interests rather than what her mom wants for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your inspiration for this?
Growing up Haole in Hawaii, I wanted to make a film that portrayed the kind of conflicts that I went through growing up, feeling like I never really belonged anywhere, being Haole here. And I mean, I've always been surrounded by such love and grace, but I really wanted to show how being a minority here has affected people, I guess. Yeah.
So you grew up here, or were you born here?
Grew up here, yeah. Grew up on Maui. So I wanted to, I also wanted to showcase Maui. The original inspiration for the film was to shoot it on the North Shore of Maui and show that dirty, hippie, grungy, country feel. Yeah. And so when we went out to shoot, we tried to pick rural locations on Oahu that made it seem like it was Maui.
Okay.
I think we did an okay job with it. We picked Wailua, some places in Haleiwa. We did Allen Davis next to Makapu that are more on the outskirts rather than showing the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, shoot, from here, So, yeah, just, how did you go about, I don't even know the right questions to ask. Okay, so that was the inspiration. And what was it like making it?
Oh my gosh, it was crazy.
Yeah, was this your first?
This is my first film.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't ever think that I would make it. I won an award for the screenplay last year, but I never thought I would see it through because the original screenplay had nudity in it, and it also involved flying to Maui, and so I kind of put it on the back burner and thought it's just something I'd have in the back of my closet.
Okay.
And then around November, my advisor at UH told me that I only had a couple more credits left before I graduated, and why not take this chance to make the film? So UH has this class, the 399 class, where it's an independent film project. You get a bunch of your friends together and you make the film. So I decided to pitch it, and they chose it to be made, and it was such a great experience.
That's awesome.
I got to work with my best friends to make the film that I've always wanted to make, and we went through hoops. We had to scrap the nudity, of course. Oahu is prude compared to the outer islands.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Huh.
There's no nude beaches here, so even though we wanted to close the beach off and make it so that it's completely private, the film office was telling us if anyone were to see the film and identify that it was Allen Davis Beach, a pretty popular beach here, people might assume that was a nude beach, and so they didn't allow us to do that, which was unfortunate. That was one of many hurdles we went through.
No doubt.
But no, working with a bunch of students, but really talented film students, was incredible. Everyone was so gung-ho. Everyone put their best foot forward and had so much great creative input and used all of their talents that they've developed throughout the years. Kind of most of my crew is graduating this semester too, so this was our big last hurrah. Right on. And over spring break, we shot every day of spring break, 7 days straight, 12 to 14 hours a day. And we felt so proud afterwards. Or I was so proud of them. And I think we would all, if we had a chance, we would do it again. Yeah. Maybe I'm speaking too much for them, but I had an amazing time. It was brutal though. We ended up using 4 cameras. Wow. We're about to do pickups, which will add our 5th camera. So that's not something I recommend to anyone. We just went through a couple of technical issues with some cameras. ACM of UH doesn't let us bring equipment to the beach. Wow, okay. Because the beach is such a strong moment in our story, we had to go other routes. We borrowed a friend's camera, ended up using a couple other cameras to do some underwater shots, and so cutting it together right now, post-production has been crazy. Yeah. In doing the color corrections so that everything looks like it's shot with one camera and it's all seamless. So that's going to be a bit of an issue, but we were really lucky. We ended up going through both HMI and ACM to rent film equipment.
Okay.
So HMI helped us out so much. A couple of my crew members are doing the internship with HMI, Hawaii Media Incorporated.
Oh, okay.
And so we got to borrow equipment that was allowed to be on the beach,
Nice.
and then separated the ACM equipment onto the other days. So very, very fortunate in that sense.
And you say borrow, not rented. They lent it to you.
We were super fortunate.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, it was the deal that we'd be renting it. And then when we returned it, they were so gracious in giving us a huge discount /
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was really, really cool.
That's fantastic.
Thank you, HMI.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really, really fortunate.
So why filmmaking? What got you into it?
Gosh.
How long have you wanted to do it?
I guess, like everyone says, they you get inspired by films growing up. I don't think it wasn't something at the forefront of my mind since I was a kid, though.
Okay.
Because I never had the confidence or I never thought that was something really possible for me. It was more of a hobby. I would grow up going to the beach or going hiking waterfalls, and I would always bring my camera with me, always be taking footage of everything I did, but never knowing what to do with it.
Yeah.
Inspired by films growing up, always watching the same movies over and over again, quoting them, and getting really obsessed with TV shows. But then when I started college, I always thought that I would go into the more science-minded path, because that's where the money was, / where my parents wanted me to pursue higher education in that world. But the first time through college didn't really work out for me, probably because I wasn't doing what I actually wanted to do.
Okay.
So when I went back to school, I saw that UH had a screenwriting class, and I always really wanted to try my hand at screenwriting. Then I found out that you had to be a film major to register for the course. So I tried it out. Love the 310 class where you kind of get thrown in the water and get to make a bunch of baby films, and just kind of took it from there. It's the best decision of my life, though, to go through it. Made some of the greatest friends and wonderful experiences, got to internship on a feature film, and it's kind of led me to job opportunities now that I'm about to graduate. So I'm definitely feeling like I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Rock on.
Really, really cool.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So this is your second time in college?
It is, yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
do you already have a degree?
I don't know.
Okay.
It just didn't pan out the way I expected.
That happens.
But yeah, I had to go through some life experiences to really find what was right for me.
Okay.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. No regrets. No.
So if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 27.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just been surprised. Like, I assumed coming in at 36, this is my third time in college, that everyone was pretty much, normal college age, straight out of high school. But finding
22,
out
21.
folks, most folks I've talked to are like in their mid to late 20s. So it's really surprising. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of gives your brain a chance to mature a little bit, I guess,
Absolutely.
and find out what you really want. Yeah.
Did you go to UH first time around?
I originally went to USD in San Diego.
Oh.
I was pursuing a marine science degree there for a couple years, and when that got too expensive, I came home for a little bit. Then I went to UH, changed my major to anthropology, and just experimenting with different sciences. And then that didn't work out. I ended up getting a job at a restaurant, which I loved and cherished, and really learned a lot of people skills, and got into the culture down there in Waikiki, and then decided it was time for me to go back to school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I spent a number of years in customer service, retail stuff as well. A little bit in the restaurants, mostly in like Target, call centers and stuff.
Okay.
I feel like those kinds of experiences give us more meat for stories.
Oh my gosh, definitely. I mean, you see the restaurant aspect in Hele Kalei so much.
Yeah.
The mom owns the restaurant, and they're dealing with this. The first scene is inside of a walk-in refrigerator, and I really was proud of that scene.
And it totally looks like a walk-in freezer.
Thank you.
Yeah. Refrigerator,
Little side story behind that. That's an art storage supply closet we emptied out all the equipment from, and my brilliant production designer Anella Ling dressed it as a fridge. There's tomatoes and strawberries and wine bottles, and we rented the hazer from HMI and made it all smoky, and it turned out really cool. I was really proud of that.
Yeah. So what were some of those movies you were talking about that you watch over and over again you love?
Well, Jurassic Park. I know we talked about that a little bit.
We did.
Let's see.
Did you see that in theaters when it came out then? Like, I don't know if that's in the same...
I don't think I was allowed to.
Oh, yeah, because we're about 10 years.
Yeah.
I was like 13, 14. So you would have been about 3 or 4 when it came out in
I
theaters.
probably wasn't allowed to. But it was definitely on in my house for a while. Actually, I remember having a sleepover with a couple of my younger brother's friends, and we watched Jurassic Park, and we got a call the next day from one of their parents saying, "You let my kid watch Jurassic Park? She's having nightmares." No, classic.
Nice.
But my true inspiration, what I really love, is Wes Anderson comedies. I've watched Darjeeling Limited like 1,000 times. I got a chance to go to India, and it really it just stuck with me. All the colors and the comedy and the emotional grit behind family dynamics. So I've been really inspired by what he does, kind of making a painting out of every shot.
Nice. Yeah, every frame of painting, that YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of right now. I was trying not to quote it exactly.
Yeah.
With Hele Kalei, we tried very hard to stick with a significant color palette, all of their costumes, and different colors in set dressing during different scenes. We tried to pull from both how small towns on Maui look, Paia, for example, on the North Shore, lots of bright pastel colors. And then, of course, the Kalei always wears the pink and the yellow, and the mom with the orange. And so we wanted to stick with that. And, I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work to go.
Okay.
We're doing pickups on Sunday. We're going to shoot a couple of just smaller scenes that I think we could make better after now seeing it on the big screen for the first time last week with my crew. So, yeah.
So this is your first film doing like with the crew and stuff. Have you done stuff prior to that though, like just for fun? Like you mentioned like going on hikes and stuff, but did you ever try to make like a movie?
Yeah, I kind of missed the whole iMovie stage. I'm a little too old for that. So when I was growing up, we would just take the shots and it would just stay there. Okay. So I never really put anything together in an edit until I entered 310, that first film class. But maybe now I can go back and I can grab some of that footage and stick it together. I don't know. Yeah. No, this is all very new for me. It's I'm really proud to be able to leave film school with a film. I didn't think that was going to happen, so I'm really feeling fortunate.
Yeah. What is it you love about directing or filmmaking in general?
I like having my hands in many pots. So with directing, which it's probably not what I'm supposed to do as the director. You really should just focus on your actors and what emotions you're trying to portray. But what I really enjoyed about that spring break was, I don't want to say being in control of everything, but getting to witness everything get done by my crew. Getting to control things or help out in so many different places. I mean, I was picking out the equipment and then going and picking it up and helping dress the sets and designing the sets, designing the wardrobe, working through the night to revamp the script to make it funnier or working with my DP and discussing what kind of shots we would like. I really like the big umbrella of filmmaking. I like overseeing all of it. So maybe in my future I could see producing or I would love to direct again for sure. But I think because I had my hands in so many different areas, that's why we have to do pickups, because maybe in directing I wasn't as focused on the day, and maybe that's just my self-consciousness coming into play too. Or I'm also a huge critic of myself and know that we can make it better. So
aren't we all?
Yeah. Film is it's a long process and it really never dies, never sleeps. I mean, we apply for Hawaii Film Festival in July, so that's kind of like our hard deadline. Okay, and we'll be working nonstop till then.
That's the submission deadline. For HIF, Hawaii International Film Festival. Yeah, looking
to hire a composer and get the good color correcting done, and really making it look fresh.
Nice.
We want to try to go to Toronto and
Oh,
Colorado
yeah.
and
No doubt.
yeah.
Okay.
Shooting for the stars.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So after Hele Kalei is done, or as some say, abandoned, because you can keep working on a work of art forever, and then it just has to reach this point where you're like, okay, it's done. What's after that? Like after the festivals and stuff? You mentioned some interesting summer work you've got coming up.
I do, yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about that?
I can talk about that,
okay.
yeah. I have now started my life as a PA, a production assistant. And so that's kind of the starting position in film. If you're going to work on big budget movie sets, you start as a production assistant where you set up pop-up tents, kind of lead the crew where they need to be. You're plugged into the walkie-talkies. You act as the communication basis. You pass out waters. It's kind of like being a busser at a restaurant, I guess, and you work your way up. And so I've been working on the new Netflix Marvel TV show. And then this summer, hopefully on Jurassic World. So that's going to be really cool. I also just got word that I'll be going to Shanghai.
Whoa.
For the ACM exchange program that they do with the Shanghai University students over there.
Wow.
So I'll be going to Shanghai for 20 days and working on a short film with students over there.
Okay.
So that's going to be a huge part of my summer.
Wow.
First time going to China. First time going to Asia, I think, too. No, I've been to India. But but it'll be really cool to do it for film rather than just a family trip, or a leisure trip. So it'll be intense. I gotta buy some business clothes, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. To wear in Shanghai. I'm excited.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you get into PA work, first off?
Really fortunate to have been involved in the 442 Go for Broke movie over winter break.
Yeah, that's been getting a lot of publicity.
A lot of publicity, yeah. I'm really happy for them.
About the World War II?
Yes,
Army thing?
Yeah, it's about the Varsity Victory volunteers who were UH students who felt that they wanted to give back to their country, but unfortunately because of the discrimination back in that time against Nisei or Japanese Americans, they weren't allowed to enlist. And so they banded together and kind of fought the power in a sense and were able to start their own branch of the military. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Wow.
But, yeah, they started the 442 and they were able to go overseas and fight for the American side and ended up being the most awarded branch of the military most awarded.
They're part of the Army, though.
Part of the Army, yeah.
But
I'm not saying this the right way.
I can't think of the terminology either. Anyway,
they were
like a brigade or something.
Yeah, something like that. They were
sorry, Army people.
They were just showered in awards, and it's a really wonderful story. I'm very, very happy to be involved with it. All local crew, so I got to mingle and meet and learn how to be on a set, which I think that is something that ACM kind of forgets to teach us, which is like how to respond on a walkie-talkie, how to
little nitty-gritty stuff.
Yeah. Those things that really will help you get work out of college, and not just go into the creative field, move to LA and write scripts and try to get your script published or made into a film. So that was huge experience. I was able to work under Alana Bombino. She was the art director of that film. She's a recent ACM grad as well. And in art department, I was able to help dress the sets. So we made bunk beds, we moved furniture around, picked up furniture from Pearl City and dragged it all the way to the North Shore.
Wow.
And, it was really cool to be so hands-on. So when I watch little bits of the footage, I'm like, I dressed that set. That's my typewriter right there. I placed it right there. Yeah, that's my handwriting on the wall.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Side note, I'm sorry, I sweat like a pig because I just am hot normally. Are you okay?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cruising.
Cool. So when is Go for Broke is still in post-production then?
Yes, still in post-production. I think they're aiming to release it in the fall sometime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see it at HIF.
Right on.
I'm really excited.
Yeah. So that's where you got your PA start?
That's where I got my PA start. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I got to meet some of the higher ups there that also work in other feature films. And because I was there every day and willing to do whatever they asked me, I got a call after it was done and asked to work on something else. That's kind of how it works in Hawaii, you know? It's all about who you know.
Sure.
And also putting your best foot forward and being positive and, you know, yeah. Definitely being positive is a huge, huge thing. And a lot of the people on set were so open and willing to give us all advice, all the ACM interns. They really... It was just a great experience. They all wanted us to grow and learn. And I feel like by the end of the 20 days of the internship, we all grew so much and were more confident in ourselves and how to be on a set. And it really helped us in making Hele Kalei, because I feel like we modeled our set off of how they ran things with such no ego, such open-mindedness. We took on some 3 tenors and 2 5/5ers, which is the beginning entry level classes in ACM, and kind of taught them the ropes, how to respond on walkie-talkies, how to set up a base camp, how to you know, move equipment or set up equipment in a certain way. It really helped us out. I was so proud of our set, really as professional as we could make it for a student film. Really love my crew.
Very cool. Yeah, that's one thing I'm looking forward to, is taking 310. Because I'm wrapping up my second semester. I understand you're supposed to actually take that your first semester in ACM.
I was going to say, you're a little late to be taking 310.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, because I was transitioning out of the Navy at the time, and because of, I guess, deadlines, time crunches, whatever, I didn't actually get an advisor until halfway through this semester. And it's Lizette, who's going on sabbatical for a year. So I'll be getting a new advisor, but I feel like over half of the professors now, and they're all just awesome and fantastic. And I don't care who I get, because I know they'll be great. But up to this point, I've made short films on my own. I've never had a crew or anything. So I understand 310, you can kind of still do it solo, or you can start to develop a crew and stuff. And that's what I'm looking forward to, is trying to do this and be able to say, oh, I don't have to worry about that. I just have to worry about such and such getting it done. Yes. Right?
Yes. Well, I hope that you do go into 310 still embracing that, because I think a lot of people do 310 not knowing that they can ask for other people's help. From my experience, I did everything on my own with 310. And maybe that's because I was not as comfortable in the program, didn't know a lot of people, or didn't know how filmmaking worked. And that didn't leave me with the best of films from that semester. So definitely keep thinking that. Use your group members. You'll be assigned a group, and use them. Use your house's location. Gosh, you have such a nice house. Little things like that will help you out, definitely. And simplify. I think people really, they try to make too complicated of scripts their first semester.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, simplify. Really work on character arcs, emotional changes. Have you taken Joel's screenwriting class or any screenwriting?
I took the Villies.
Oh, okay.
So
Oral traditions.
2, 3, 55 instead of 50. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you know.
So that was cool. That was a wake up call, because I'm used to writing more prose, like novel style, narrative style, so more internal, whereas screenwriting is the exact opposite. Everything is external and visual. Like, you can't have an inner monologue unless it's a voiceover, or unless it's a subtextual message for something else that's being visually portrayed. So that was like, that blew my mind. That was one of the first,
it's a challenge. Ooh, it's rough.
And kind of got butchered on some of my first assignments, but then started to get it, and it's kind of like taking what I know, but just turning it in a different direction, I guess.
Tweak it. Yeah, it's like a puzzle or a game. Really enjoyed that process.
Same thing with Joel's class this semester, directing the actor on screen.
Oh, did you take that?
Yeah.
Before 310?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I don't know. It's, like I said, it's weird, but it's working out.
You're ahead of the game, definitely.
Like, all my directing techniques have been self-taught, and some things have been successful, some things haven't. And now in my late 30s, I'm kind of entrenched in what I already know, and then learning what Joel is teaching us. Like, I remember thinking some of the first stuff he taught us was like the stereotypical artsy fartsy things you see kind of mocked in films and on TV. But I just had to really get to a point where I'm like, okay, I don't know everything. I've got to submit myself to his instruction and try it. And once I was able to wrap my mind around that, then it was like, oh, okay, I'm good at this. I can do this.
There's a point for all of those ridiculous exercises.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been a real exercise in humility and just getting back to that point of wanting to learn, being open to learn, I guess, willing to learn. Yeah,
it's more of an acting class, isn't it?
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Well,
put yourself in the body of the actors that you will be directing.
Yeah,
and you can understand how to get them motivated to do what you want them to do.
Yeah. And last night was our last class, and he explained that it's in order to learn how to direct, you kind of have to be in the shoes of the actor.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you think about it, you act more than you direct. When you're busted into your groups, you have to. If you're in like the first half, then you direct one scene, act in another scene, and then the second half, if you already directed, you don't direct again, but you act again in another group. So that's like 2 out of 3 times you're acting instead of directing. So
yeah, good lessons. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to take either his directing the camera or directing the actor class. That's a huge regret of mine. I've heard wonderful things about that, and Joel's just fantastic. I took both his advanced screenwriting and his screenwriting class and learned so much. But maybe if I ever go back, I can try it out again.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Shoot, what was I going to say? So how did you manage directing your actors for Hele Kalei?
Oh gosh, kind of just
run
and gun.
Well, how do you, like, that's the question, I guess, which is fundamental to directing, is how do you get someone to do something that's not necessarily natural to them?
Yeah, it's all about having them put themselves in the place of the character. So having them understand the reasons behind why the character is the way that they are. So we had a lot of sessions where we would discuss maybe the past of Kalei, what she has gone through in her childhood, or for Janice, the mother character, what made her so uptight and controlling over her daughter. So putting them in that mindset, and then just kind of letting the actors do whatever they felt would be the next step for that character. It was really eye-opening because it sometimes changed from what I thought would happen.
Sure.
So as a director, you have to be really open to changes, but that offers the most natural reaction. That's what you want too. I would say that happened a lot in rehearsals, where I would, try to control everything, but having them really take the script and run with it. I was able to see maybe a much more flowery scene that I had been held back from before. I definitely recommend to future filmmakers to take the chance to rehearse with your actors as many times as you can before you get to the set, because on the day at the set, you're going to be so busy with so many other things going on, and time is always ticking, the sun is going down, and you never know what kind of technical issues you're going to run into. And if you're like me and you like to have your hands in a bunch of different areas, there's not going to be a lot of time to rehearse things like blocking, something so simple. So taking advantage of, we had 3 rehearsal sessions was huge benefit, because then my actors got there, they got in wardrobe, they were exactly where they're supposed to be, and I was really, really lucky with our casted actors as well.
Nice.
Depending on who you cast is another, this is kind of going on a side tangent, but that will change the state of your film as well. You start out with a script, you have a vision, but through all these different stages of pre-production and then production, the script takes on a life of its own, or the film does. We ended up casting a Finnish girl to play Kalei, where my original thought was to do a local Hele, who can speak Pidgin and who it was obvious had grown up here her whole life and identified with that story I was trying to portray. But through casting, it began to look more and more like we wanted to cast Rebecca. She's fantastic, just gorgeous, and a wonderful range in her acting capabilities. So she was the standout, and we decided to go with her. And I think that that the story still is there. The story is still strong enough to that feeling of how a foreigner or someone who is maybe not supposed to be in that place, or someone who isn't typically of Hawaii goes through their life here. I think the message is still there. Just little things, little changes throughout the way. How
did that alter your vision with her as the
little things? Like we had to cut some Pidgin lines because having her speak Pidgin was she's wonderful, and she definitely gave it her all. But it wouldn't have sounded as natural as I would have wanted it to.
Sure.
I also, I
have that problem. Whenever I'm like hearing a different language or learning a different dialect or something, I automatically start trying to talk like it. I don't even think about it. Yeah. But I love new expressions, and I do it to my wife who grew up here, and she's like, no. Just no.
Keep trying, you'll assimilate.
Yeah.
Great. But no, growing up around it, I didn't realize how difficult it would be to kind of take on that dialect. And little things like her accent coming out in some of the lines, it used to bother me a lot more, and now when I watch the film, it just adds more to the character, and it's just become its own separate story. So I'm still really happy with how it turned out.
That's lovely.
Thank you.
Absolutely enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Even for a rough cut, I could see where some color correcting hadn't happened yet, but other than that, it was fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I could definitely see the Wes Anderson influence in it, and the cinematography and whatnot. But just the characters were great, fleshed out.
Thank you.
Fully dimensional. My favorite line, well, what made me laugh out loud was the where they run into the lady with the tattoo.
Yes, Emma. Oh my gosh.
It's supposed to say Kohole, but
it came out Okole.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Her character is supposed to be the inspiration for Kalei to decide that she can do whatever she wants to do and doesn't have to be controlled by whatever society wants her to do, whatever her mom wants her to do, or whatever this higher being has planned for her.
Sure.
She can get a tattoo that says Okole and be okay with it.
Yeah.
So I love that people laugh at that line. I really always wanted to write comedy, and this film turned out to be a lot more dramatic than I had in mind. But maybe my next time around would be more comical.
Well, that's kind of the brilliance of Wes Anderson's style is he has this amazing balance of like gut-busting comedy and then like heartbreaking drama and tragedy in his stuff.
Yeah.
Like in Royal Tenenbaums, the way, of course, Royal, his interactions with his kids are, he's a bad father, but sometimes funny and how things happen. And then he faking his cancer. And then when Richie tries to kill himself, it's like, where did that come from? But still being able to bring humor out of it. And he's one of my favorite directors too.
Wonderful.
Like my favorite film of all time is a really close. Oh, geez, I forgot about Budapest. Well, no, it's still like I would have to say Life Aquatic.
Okay,
is my favorite like film of all time.
That's one where people are always they love it or they hate it.
Yeah,
one of those.
No, I love that film, and a close second is Royal Tenenbaums, and then Grand Budapest is just this wonderful love story. Love story, heist, whatever.
How about Fantastic Mr. Fox?
That was fun.
Yeah.
I only saw it once.
Okay.
I do need to see it again.
It deserves another watch. Though.
Yeah.
It's so good.
'Cause I think I saw it on an airplane.
Okay. Yeah. Got to put it on the big screen.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely wanted to capture that drama and good feeling, the inspiration that she goes through in the end. I'm really happy with how that all panned out.
So you mentioned you wanted nudity in it originally. And it was supposed to be the beach.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to symbolize like her liberation, her freedom?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. So that mixed with how North Shore Maui really is. I mean, there's nude beaches everywhere, and people are just so free to express themselves and not thinking about how they're being judged on the outside. And the two women are or Kalei and her mom run up to the ledge, and they see this nude beach and dancing hippies going on and bongo drums and didgeridoos and something that the mom character would not approve of in the slightest. But in seeing them, they both kind of let down their guards and are really able to be themselves and act authentically and truthful towards each other. And because of how the course of the story plays out, Kalei is constantly getting inspired by these other characters that she runs into, and that's kind of the final straw, is running into the nudity, and she decides to join them in the end. Yeah.
Nice.
So it worked out. We still did, we just made them into crazy clothed hippies. On the
Sure.
beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love my extras.
Oh, yeah.
They went through so much. Yeah. They just looked like circus freaks on the beach.
Yeah.
We had a really fun day that day.
That was great.
Really fun. Yeah.
So what kind of, what was it like growing up? You mentioned struggles and whatnot. Like what was one of the biggest challenges you faced? What did you say?
I was really lucky. Also, I think my height kind of allowed me not to get bullied as much.
Okay, sure.
I'm tall.
There's something about tall people, yeah.
Yeah. And because I kind of carried myself, with more of like a confidence because I grew up in an area where it was really country, rural, lots of locals.
Nice.
And so I always identified with that sort of culture, and they knew that about me. I could speak pidgin fluently. I've gotten into fights and kind of have a little titta inside of me.
Nice.
So I didn't go through a lot of negativity, but I always knew that it was there. The Damn Howley slogan is such a big thing. There used to be Kill Howley Day in schools. So,
nice.
It's just something that maybe people on the mainland don't realize happens here.
Sure.
Discrimination happens to everyone, regardless of your race or, So I wanted to make a film that showed that because I have never seen a film where I could identify with the character.
Right.
Something that Moana just came out, and Moana is the princess that I mostly identify with rather than Belle or Cinderella, which is, my skin color more. And it's just strange because I don't have that blood in me, that Pacific Islander blood, but because this is my home, this is where my mom grew up, this is where my grandma grew up, this is, I don't have anywhere else to go. So I really wanted to show that struggle. I grew up in the North Shore of Maui in Huelo by Twin Falls, and grew up with chickens fighting on the bus. And, pretty much the only Howley girl on the bus. My bus driver would call me Miss Tolly. Hey, Miss Tolly, how's it?
Nice.
And, it was a fun childhood.
Okay.
Rugged.
Yeah.
Dirt road, water catchment. Solar power, just real country living out there. Backyard waterfalls. Yeah.
And how did your parents come to live there?
My dad is from New Jersey, but he moved out when he was 18.
Okay.
So back when Waikiki, he moved originally to Waikiki back in the 80s when it was really fun, Waikiki. Now it's so touristy, and I guess it's always been touristy, but it used to be more of a local hangout. There's places like the Wave or Hulas where people would go and party, and he says these crazy stories where he lived in a studio apartment with 13 other people, and he spent a year living on the lanai.
Wow.
My mom is from Kaneohe side, so and my grandma had been there since she was in her 20s. So we moved to Maui when I was 7. I was born in Eva Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. I consider Maui my home, though. I don't really remember much of Eva side. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. It seems like Waikiki is trying to be more like a New York or LA or something.
Totally.
With all the like luxury brands and whatever. Not my favorite place to be.
No.
The whole Howley thing is something I've been sensitive to since I've started to get more into the local scene after meeting my wife. She grew up here but in Pearl City.
Okay.
Prior to that, just Navy, living on base for a while. Then I moved off and did live up in Pearl City for about a year or so before meeting her. But then just getting out of my usual bubble. Kind of insulated military folks. Like I am one of, I think, 3 Howleys at family gatherings.
Okay,
yes, like there are a couple aunties
awesome.
Who are white. But I'm the only white dude, I guess.
Nice.
And like walking around places like Kahala Mall, the first few times I did it by myself, I was like, oh, I'm the only white person in here right now.
Yeah.
And it's nothing like unnerving or anything. It's just, a reverse of what I'm accustomed to and what most people who envision Hawaii are accustomed to. Because we talked about no one really knows about the discrimination so much because they spend most of their time in Waikiki or in specially developed tourist spots made for them to give them the best experience possible. They're not going to know about the sovereignty movement. They're not going to know about the homesteading and all that stuff. So I think it's great that you're trying to bring that side out, and not in a way that's just like, hey, you ignorant mother effers, this is what's really going on, get educated. You're just like, it just happens, and here's a story about it.
Yeah. It's the Joel always teaches us to write what we know. And so that was the inspiration there. I just sat down and I wrote. My mom works at a restaurant, and everyone comes up to me and they're like, do you play taiko? I'm like, no. But a lot of it draws from my own life experiences.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. So one thing we've talked about in class is like what makes an indigenous film. Like, do you feel like this is kind of an indigenous, not quite.
Interesting.
Well, I don't know about this, but do you feel, maybe that's a dumb question. I was going to say, do you feel like you can make an indigenous film, or
yeah
I don't know.
Well, we talked about last time in class, because the filmmaker is indigenous, does that make any film that they make an indigenous film? And then we learned the term Pakeha.
Oh yeah, from New Zealand.
Yeah, the
their
term
version
for
of
Hele. So being a Pakeha or a Hele filmmaker, but this is where I grew up and all that I know, I guess in a sense I could be considered an indigenous filmmaker. I don't know, that's such a up for discussion kind of thing.
Maybe it's not appropriate to ask, but
I definitely I wanted to showcase island culture, and so using pidgin or using cultural like set dressings, like the character of Emma is drinking a Heineken and wears the gold bracelets, and the tattoo is written in that signature cursive old style lettering that you see in Hawaiian tattoos, little things like that. I wanted to showcase Hawaiian culture, and so I don't know if that adds to it being indigenous. It's definitely not a whitewashed old style Hollywood film that just takes place in Hawaii. It definitely has senses of the actual culture and the realism that is Hawaii right now. So I was pretty proud of that. I think we could have done more, but I'm always analyzing it, for the next film.
Sure, yeah. What other films do you think you'd like to do?
Ooh.
Like, you're in charge.
Oh, yeah. I've always wanted to make a musical. I want to do like a musical comedy. I love Book of Mormon, of course, Wicked. So I want to do maybe a Hawaiian musical. There's that play, People That You Meet in Longs. I think that's the title of it.
Yeah.
It's completely in pidgin and just, discusses like the normal day as you wander through Longs. And I would love to do something like that. Also introducing Hawaiian culture to the stage and hopefully having some comedy in there. Have you seen Book of Mormon?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. It's got such an adult twist on it. I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
Rather than just for the kids, like a Lion King musical or anything. More for an adult audience.
Right.
Yeah, definitely more comedy. I don't think I have a dark eye. I don't really like gore or action films, war films. I'd really more that's why I like Wes Anderson so much. I like that light feel, but also with a passion message. I'd like to hit home with the message with it, but to tell it in a light way.
Sure.
Yeah.
So is that what you say would draw you to comedy?
Yeah. I think characters definitely. It's not about the storyline. It's more about how crazy the characters are, or their own character, their own arcs, how they relate to each other. I definitely see that in my own life, how we're all such different people, and the way that we interact with each other, just there's comedy everywhere. Some of my influences, I love The Office.
Oh yeah.
I love Lost for that, for the characters, which isn't a comedy, but
Lost.
Really,
yeah,
living here in Hawaii.
I know. Well, that was after.
Yeah. That was one where every Wednesday night, me and my family would get together and we'd watch Lost. I remember my dad would come home in the middle of the episode every Wednesday night, and we'd all be like, "Shh, Lost is on!" We'd like tiptoe in and sit down. But yeah, definitely all about the characters.
Wow. And I noticed your Stormtrooper T-shirt.
Oh, may the 4th be with you.
Yeah, exactly. So, Star Wars fan.
Star Wars fan for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Force Awakens, Rogue One?
Loved them both. Yeah, Rogue One. I love that it wasn't spoiled for me. God, it was so good. I mean, talk about characters. You really get to love them, and then Yeah, and that happens.
What's your opinion, if any, on like the emergence of these more strong female leads?
Awesome.
Yeah.
As a woman filmmaker, I'd love to see more of that. Love to see more of women being represented in the place of male heroes. I think that women can do just the same thing as these male superheroes can. I would love to see a Black Widow movie. Why haven't we gotten that yet? Things like that. I recently went to the Hawaii Women Filmmakers meeting. They meet almost every month on Wailea.
Hawaii Filmmakers Collective.
Yes, exactly. So I went with my producer and my assistant director, and we got to talk about our film a little bit and hear about what other women filmmakers in Hawaii are doing.
Nice.
That was really, really cool. It's like a renaissance going on right now.
That's
all
awesome.
These female filmmakers.
I guess the last meeting they had is the one that Jaina actually spoke at.
No way. I missed it.
Yeah.
Bummer.
A small world, or a small island.
Super small island. Oh, yeah. Especially the film community. Gosh.
Yeah.
The one that I went to the month before that was Vili's wife.
No kidding.
Yeah, Bernadette.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Wow. Yeah, I bumped into them a month or two ago at Kahala Mall.
Oh.
My wife and I were there with our son having a little happy hour with some friends, and then as we were trying to get back to our car up on the top level of the parking structure, we just kept bumping into more people. And then finally,
Hawaii for you.
Yeah, as soon as we came out of the elevator, like more people, and then Billy and his wife came, like, "Oh, Clifford, how you doing?" Like, "Hey, what's up?"
It's so great.
"We're going to see Hidden Figures." Like, okay, cool.
Filmmakers.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. I kind of left Maui because that always happens.
Oh,
I wanted that
really?
big city experience, but then it happens here too.
Yeah.
I think it would happen no matter where you go. You have similar interests with people, and you share these communities, and there is a beauty to that. Maui is just really small town. Everyone knows everything about everyone. I was ready to get out for a little bit. But it'll always be my home. Yeah.
Pushing gears a little bit, you mentioned you grew up with a Catholic background.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't say it was super heavy like Pete Holmes's experience is.
Okay.
Grew up going to church every Sunday. When I was about to but be confirmed as a Catholic, I was halfway through the training process, and I remember in high school approaching my mom being like, I don't want to continue. I don't want to finish it. And
really?
so I don't really remember what I gave her as the reason, but she was super okay with it, and we didn't really have to discuss it.
Okay.
And then slowly we stopped going to church every Sunday, and maybe we got a new priest at the church, and it wasn't as family like. It wasn't as open. The going to church is so great when you're a kid because it gives you that normalcy. It gives you that routine, and you start to know people in your community. Especially growing up in Haiku on Maui, it's so tight knit, and just having that sense of community was really, I really appreciated. So I don't regret that sense, but I feel lucky that I didn't go to Catholic school throughout. I enjoyed going to public school and getting to know how to live in that sense rather than being so closed off and in that little bubble. I did end up going to USD, which is a Catholic university, and so that was an interesting change to meet people who had been going to all Catholic girls' schools their entire life, and then going to college and not really knowing, or just having a different background, and so being different people. That was interesting. But yeah, I wouldn't say that I would have a completely Catholic background.
Okay.
Just kind of know
a little bit.
I'm baptized.
Okay.
I received the body and blood, which I enjoy. I love having that cultural background too. Yeah. Because I feel like as Haoles in Hawaii, we don't have a lot to cling to. Yeah. So I like knowing the references.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, would you say your spirituality influences your storytelling or your aspirations at all? Or is it just kind of in the background?
I think it does. My spirituality, in a sense, that I am open to learning about the world's cultures. I feel like I've definitely developed this spiritual sense of wanting to learn more. When I traveled to India, we did a lot of traveling to different temples and going to ashrams and
That was with your family?
That was with with some friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But this past summer, I did Machu Picchu with my family.
Oh.
And had some experiences with shaman.
Okay.
It's really cool. Me, my brother, and my boyfriend did ayahuasca with a shaman.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Dude.
So that was incredible.
Okay.
It definitely influences the way I tell stories now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was that like?
It was great.
Yeah. Did you meet the purple lady?
No purple lady. And
Okay.
I've heard a lot of different stories about a womanly figure coming. I didn't meet any human figure body.
Okay.
I instead had a lot of interaction with a female spider.
Interesting.
It's very interesting. Yes, like a giant, Gregor spider, like from Metamorphosis kind.
Okay.
She kind of
Was she like
guided
helping any
me.
pigs out of binds or anything?
No.
Terrific
no.
pigs? No.
Oh, babe.
Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web, same,
Yeah.
same. No, she kind of guided me through my past, and I encountered different people that I had conflicts with before, and was able to forgive them for certain things. And then towards the end of my experience, she stepped over me, this huge spider, and I entered into her lady parts, and she just took me in, and I was able to enter like a different realm sort of thing. Yeah. And I left the experience and shared the next day as a circle with the other shaman that I went into the experience not wanting children, and I left it wanting to be a mom and wanting to have kids one day.
No
And,
kidding.
and shed my motherly passions with them. Where I used to be so all about myself, and I left it wanting to give.
That's crazy. But that's cool. Not like crazy in a bad way. Just like, wow.
It was really cool to have it changed like that. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. The
Yeah.
shaman were so sweet. They loved hearing that story, hearing how people changed throughout it, because everyone had something different to share about how it affected them. And gosh, it's like 6 hours straight of just crying.
Oh.
Because you're cleansing and you're just crying so hard. But I remember saying thank you over and over again while I was crying. Not thank you to anything, but I just couldn't hold it back.
Is gratitude to the universe?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Gratitude to let things go that I didn't know I was holding on to.
Sure.
Past.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I felt like I was face to face with these people who had harmed me, that I had suppressed throughout the years, and getting to forgive them. But yeah, it was like a weight lifted. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Really
and
cool.
That's like an old long-standing tradition or practice, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Ayahuasca and meeting with shamans.
Super ancient.
In super certain cultures. Yeah, the way I see it, that's the way you're describing it. That's like condensed therapy.
Yes.
Like nowadays, I mean, among other things, but just for this one specific issue, like it could take years. Like I did 3 years of therapy, and it took me that long. And change, and up until like recent, like last couple years or so, to like really have those things I learned flesh out.
Yeah.
And there is something, like, not to say that's a quick fix with the ayahuasca, but I mean, it just seems like if we were more in tune with older practices, older ways of life, and nowadays how we're all isolated in our little bubbles, even like communal bubbles, we're still kind of alone, and closing ourselves off to new experiences and interactions with people because we're stuck on our phones and whatever. We just totally lose that old sense of community that we were forced into for survival, basically. Yes. And it just seems like we're more aware, or more like issues come out now because of that.
I think what's special about stepping into the yurt where you receive the ayahuasca is it forces you to surrender to it, and then you just let the experiences happen to you. And so there's no ego there. It's not like you have to continue to pretend to be someone that you usually are as you go through life. Where I've been through therapy as well, and I feel like you still have that guard up even when you go to visit the therapist.
Yeah. But like with the drug experience, that kind of like turns that, I feel like it turns that part of your brain off, or your part of your mind off, so you have no choice. And with therapy, in my experience, something similar happened. Like there would have to be some kind of traumatic event or some kind of thing that would like just hurt so bad that it would just, you just wanted to change, and it would kill that ego part because you'd maybe like built up so much worth or beliefs in a certain thing, and then it just goes away. Like for me, it was a woman. And once she went away, then I was just like, wah. And I was like, I can't take this anymore. I'll do anything to, get well emotionally. So that's interesting. The parallels between the things.
Because it makes you hurt on ayahuasca. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. When you enter the yurt and everyone has a bucket next to their sleeping bags. Oh. And they had warned us before that you will throw up. But when I entered and I saw the bucket next to each and every sleeping bag, it like clicked to me that we will all be throwing up in that bucket next to each other. And cleansing. You have to cleanse for 3 days ahead of time, drinking the volcanic water and not eating meat or alcohol or smoking in any sense. And if you do it the right way and you go in with an open mind, it can really do your body some good or your mind some good.
Sure. Yeah. And this is with your family? Was it like group ayahuasca therapy?
I don't recommend doing it with your parents, but no, I got to do it with my brother. So that was a huge, oh my gosh, growing up with him, I don't think we ever had the relationship that we do now, where we're so open. And I think growing up, we both put up the walls where we lived as, I don't know, we lived the way that society wanted us to live, or we were pretending to be people that we weren't. And so it was a household of not allowed to swear or not allowed to talk about sex and, different things that would weigh us down and not let us be who we wanted to be. And then we went our separate ways to go to college and didn't see each other a lot, never talk, never text or anything like that. But now that we've gone through that experience and are able to laugh really freely and not feel judged by each other, now we're just so much closer.
That's wonderful.
He's coming out for my graduation in a couple weeks. I'm so excited to get to see him again.
Was he one of the people you saw in your vision?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My mom.
That'd be trippy.
Yeah. Because he's right there.
Yeah.
He had a completely different experience. He had more of a yellow submarine experience. What? He said he saw cartoons and rainbows, and he was floating through this mystical fairyland. And I'm envious of that, but I also had to deal with what I had to deal with. So I think if I were to do it again, maybe I'd have more of that trippy experience, like people talk about visiting other realms and flying over the earth and visiting other places. But I was definitely more internal, focusing on my own troubles. Sure. 4 years ago, I quit drinking. Oh. So that was definitely something, I had to visit and kind of like forgive myself for putting my family through those kind of traumas, or being okay with being different and not participating in that sort of social norm, which is partying and drinking and stuff. Those were kind of at the forefront.
What motivated that?
I'm having a slight addiction.
Okay. Yeah, it happens.
Being forced to, really liked it too much, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it, did you like do a program, or is it more self-guided?
Yeah. At the moment, it's more self-guided.
And if there's anything that you don't want to talk about, just say so.
Oh no, I'm very comfortable talking about it.
Okay.
I mean,
this is cutting it close, after all. But at your discretion.
You're making it weird over here now.
I wish I could laugh like Pete Holmes.
When I first started listening to Nerdist, that's what got me listening more and more, because Chris has gone through treatment and whatever. So I really identify with that. Also, Jonah's from Hawaii. So, I mean, gosh, I loved the Nerdist for so long. And then transferred over to Pete because of his more open-minded spiritual teachings that he talks about on the podcast. But no, when it first started out, I went to AA and I did like a outpatient treatment program through a hospital in Maui. Never like full-on rehab for 30 days or anything like that. But my dad and my mom both have been through the program too, so they know they knew the signs. They saw it happening, and they knew that something had to be done, and I wasn't going to do it for myself. And so
was it like an intervention kind of thing?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. So I was living on Oahu at the time, and my mom quit my job for me. Whoa. Which, like, I felt like such a kid, but she had to, and they came out and they brought me back to Maui, and my dad took a whole summer off of work and drove me 2 meetings twice a day, every day for that whole summer, like one in the morning, and then I would go to the doctors and have a meeting there, and then I would go to a meeting at night. And so it was just like a whole summer of therapy. Of course, I had to decide to do it for myself and not for my family. So when I did come back to Oahu after that summer to try to continue my life, I went back to that job. They hired me back. They understood what had to happen. But I started drinking again, of course, because and now that I look back on it, it's because I was doing it for someone other than myself.
Sure.
And it wasn't until 6 months after that I realized that I couldn't do it. That it was something for me.
Yeah.
That, they were doing it for me.
Yeah.
And I just didn't understand that.
Sure.
So
yeah, that's one of the.
I would like to make a film about that one day.
No, that'd be
about treatment and especially how it happens here in Hawaii, because AA is probably really tight knit everywhere you go, but AA in Hawaii is super strong and charismatic and love the people. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. Because it was about, for me, like 5 or 6 years before I went into therapy, and my dad and the mother figure in my life were both encouraging me to do it for the longest time since I got out of college. Yeah. And then it was just failed relationship after failed relationship. And finally I just was like, I'm done. This record has got to stop playing or skipping. Let's fix the needle. And so finally got into that. And actually I did try one therapist first, and I just wasn't quite digging it with this guy. And because I was letting my preconceived notions get in the way of what he was trying to do for me. Like, grew up Protestant, not super hardcore necessarily, but I kind of made it hardcore or something. And, was very adept at, self-loathing. And, like when in college, being out of the Christian bubble for the first time, and when high-speed internet was new, was able to like go to all the porn sites and stuff, and I was like, yeehaw. But I attributed that to part of my failure in relationships, and so when I brought it up with a therapist, he was like, well, maybe it's not as bad as you think. And in my mind, I was thinking, oh no, it's terrible, it's sinful, this isn't right, how can he say it's okay? And so I didn't say that to him, but I was like, this guy's not going to work out. Because I was holding on to, I wasn't willing quite yet to listen to him. And so actually got in touch with another one who my dad had seen before. And I might also be because she's a woman. I respond typically better to women than men. And there's a whole slew of things with that. But getting into it with her, it started to make more sense. And then I got out of the self-loathing. Saying all that to say, what am I saying all that to say? I just started doing it for myself and just realized that I had to just turn off everything I thought I knew and go for it. Just surrender myself to something else because what I had wasn't working.
Yes. Oh my God. I totally relate to that. It's the same thing on the other side.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a better person for it now. I definitely couldn't have gone through film school without surrendering and realizing that I don't know everything. Yeah. Really, really beautiful in that sense.
So 4 years sober.
Yeah, in April. End of April.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Super recent. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, really crazy. A lot of my friends can't believe it.
Is it something you ever miss, or maybe like...
I don't miss the hard times, but I miss that social acceptance, I guess. Being able to invite people out for a drink or joining people for happy hour and not just having a Diet Coke. Yeah. What I hate is having to explain it to people, when you first meet them for the first time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like, so what do you want? Can I get you a martini or whatever? And so having to deal with that. But I'm finding now that I'm getting older and maybe getting more out of my head and more comfortable with it, that it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
People don't really care.
It's just another lifestyle choice.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it a certain way.
Yeah. And I think I'm totally out of that party scene.
Yeah.
Where the first couple years I was still in that scene and still trying to hold on to those friendships and those experiences.
Yeah.
And so that was really difficult.
Yeah.
Because you can't really explain it to those kind of people because they're just trying to get messed up.
Yeah.
So, now I mean, gosh, filmmakers, we don't really have a lot of time to party.
Yeah.
So I've been totally comfortable in the ACM program and really
Nice.
open with all my friends. And
Awesome.
it's never felt like I'm left out of anything.
That's
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's it's good.
Yeah.
Tonight there's a award ceremony for ACM.
Yeah.
And afterwards there's an after party.
Oh.
So those are little things where I'm reminded that I can't drink
Yeah.
when those things are going on. I know it'll be fine because I'm super comfortable with myself and I can socialize without it.
Sure.
But it's in those situations where I'm reminded I'm different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's cool.
That's okay too.
Yeah. That's something I've kind of struggled with or wrestled with. I've never, as far as I can tell, I quite crossed over into alcoholic territory. But I do enjoy drinks occasionally, sometimes frequently. There have been a couple times where Jen, my wife, would say, you take a couple drinks a day a lot. And I was like, oh, I was kind of thinking about that. Okay. No booze for like a week, 2 weeks, whatever. And, then go back to maybe like, a couple drinks a week or something. But I remember hearing on You Made It Weird, he was talking about, I forget which comedian, but a couple comedians actually in that story gave up drinking just because it was hampering their thinking, their creative flow or whatever. And then after that is when they like really started to get successful. Yeah. And I wonder if that might be one thing that's holding me back. Like maybe we shouldn't have so much at home and just, save it for social engagements or something. I don't know.
Totally. Yeah.
That's something that's been,
it is a poison for the brain.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you think that you're being more productive or being funnier, but it's a total, it's all false.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely got my butt into gear and, the haze was cleared and I was able to see what I really wanted to do rather than what I thought I was supposed to do. So, yeah.
Right on.
Trying to live like Kalei.
Yeah. Free and clear.
Trying to run into the ocean.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned now after your spider experience, you want to have kids.
Yeah. Eventually. I think I'm at this point now where I'm starting a new career. So I've just got to put that in the back of my head for now. But whereas before it was like I never wanted kids. And now it's like, oh yeah, I could have kids. Yeah. Probably not till, I guess I'm older. I'm getting older, 27. But, I guess when I enter my 30s, maybe I'll be more comfortable or we'll see where my career takes me. Yeah,
totally.
Just taking it day by day.
If you do enter into that, that's something you definitely need to want to do.
Okay.
Because otherwise it's going to be more tough.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Family.
Yeah. Little Stormy's great.
Oh.
Yeah. And, I don't think any time's like super too late because both of us are approaching our 40s.
Okay.
And, Stormy's just a year old now. So we're looking at a second one maybe in another year or so.
Exciting.
But, yeah, don't worry too much about timing, I guess.
Okay.
But I mean, is that something you just want to do on your own, or is there a Mr. Green in the vision here?
I've been with my boyfriend Chris now for 5 years.
Okay.
So definitely that's something that we've talked about for our future.
Sure.
And we'll see. That's definitely something that he wants as well. Like I said, with this new career on the cusp with my life.
Yeah.
I have a lot of things to work out. He's a lot more stable in his life at the moment. He's really made a great career out of what he does. He's the assistant general manager at Dave & Buster's. And
no kidding.
He loves what he does. He gets to work around kids and beer and football and games. So he loves it there, and he's really moving up fast in the corporate world with that sense.
Awesome.
But until I'm at that kind of safe standpoint, I think it's something that we'll have to wait on for a while. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Mom.
Hey, all in due time.
That's right.
So what's your view on marriage? Is that something you want to do, or is it kind of just a archaic concept? I mean, personally, my views have changed on it quite a bit over the last couple of years. I mean, Jen and I still got married. I still wanted her to take my name, and she graciously did. She wasn't super into it at first. We talked about it, and she's just kept her maiden name as a middle name. or second middle name,
Yeah.
and then Bailey, and I really appreciate her for that. I feel like maybe if things had happened a couple years later, might have felt differently and just been okay with her keeping her maiden name. But
I enjoy that tradition.
You do?
Of
Yeah.
taking the name, and maybe because I haven't thought about it too much, because it might be such an anti-feminist thing. I don't know.
Well, no, don't get me wrong. Also, I enjoy it too.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that she did, because that's something that's been with me for a long time. But like, if she had not wanted to, I'd have been okay with it.
Yeah. That's beautiful too. Maybe if I ever make a name for myself as Kelsie Greene, that I would have different thoughts about it. But my parents are a huge inspiration in how I live my life. And they've been together for 30 years. Wow. 31 years now this year. So I really model my love life after what they've built up, and they raised me and my brother so well, and to be such open-minded people. And so I really like what they've done to be a single unit. My mom and my dad do everything together. They're right now planning to hike, I think it's the Pacific Northwest Trail.
Oh, wow.
It's like 19 days going through mountains in the Pacific Northwest. So they go on hikes all the time. My dad's recently retired, and yet they still try to have such an active life together. And I really, really enjoy that. So I could definitely see marriage in my future. I also enjoy the tradition in whatever kind of small cultural thing that we have.
Yeah, sure. I'm come to really abhor the racket, the industry. Like, you got to get the biggest diamond and have the most expensive wedding and whatnot. When Jen and I got married, I couldn't afford a big ring, and we talked about it ahead of time. We're both like, it's a symbol. Yeah. And like, absolutely. We both don't, well, she doesn't wear her rings to work because she's a teacher, kindergarten teacher. And so she doesn't want to like end up like scratching a kid's face off by accident or something. Yeah. And sometimes I hate just like wearing jewelry, like a watch, or any other kind of ring. When I got my class ring in high school, I hardly ever wore it. But we still enjoy it. And it's that symbol. So when we go out, people know like, hey, we're together. Yeah. Although sometimes it's exciting to pretend we're just on like a date and
without the rings.
Without the rings,
you guys are so cute.
That's fun. Yeah. But we also had a super small wedding. We almost eloped.
Wow.
Almost. The funny story, and not to make fun of her, but when we were planning it, like we met through Match.com.
Oh my gosh, what a cute love story!
Yeah, February of 2014, okay. And then we started dating in April of that year, okay. And then moved in with her in June. Ooh, and
fast.
Well, yeah, it kind of was. Yeah.
I'm sure you get to know each other really quickly, though.
Yeah, and like she'd been through a couple relationships, I'd been through many, and we just felt like we just both had a good feeling about each other. Yeah. And if you know by this point in life.
Right. That's so right.
And so we also entered into that with the goal being marriage. Mm-hmm. And so proposed in October of that year, and then we just want to do something super small, nothing big or crazy. Yeah. And we're just going to go to the Big Island one weekend and get it done. And she told her parents one night, we're going to elope on the Big Island. Just in casual conversation. I'm like, honey.
They were furious, I'm sure.
No. They were okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah. I just liken it to like telling the cops, I'm going to rob a bank.
Totally. Yeah. Takes the fun out of it.
Yeah. But no, it turned out being wonderful. They came, and then they FaceTimed in her brother in New York. So that was really cool. And we had a Hawaiian priestess do it. Oh, wow. So kind of...
priestess.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. And, like 5 years ago, I never envisioned myself doing that. It was always going to be like in a church with a pastor, right. And, praise choruses being sung, Bible reading or whatever. But no, it's like now it's like, okay, let's do this. This is really cool. Wow. And it was wonderful. It was great.
Just as meaningful, if not more.
Absolutely. Because I've heard that the whole concept of marriage is relatively new to history. Like the way it's done, like rings weren't even part of the show until like, I don't know, the last century or something like that. Like in medieval times up through colonial times. Maybe it was more of an agreement between two people who were, if it wasn't arranged, people who were okay with each other and they found each other attractive and would propagate with them. Whereas now it's all about love and devotion and
monogamy.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it for sure. And we've tried to keep romance going, making it fun and saucy. But for the most part, it's just being able to hang out with each other day to day and not get on each other's nerves all the time. It does happen. Usually it's me kind of putting my foot in my mouth to admit, but we have the kind of relationship where sometimes she gets on my nerves or says something wrong, and it's a nice balance because we, as part of love, respect each other as human beings. It's not just all lovey-dovey and got to be all smoochy, but we are both naturally affectionate, so we are kind of smoochy all the time. But so it's a lot different than I originally envisioned, and I'm glad I was able to open myself up to these new experiences brought on by traumatic events. She's actually not my first wife. I married a fellow sailor in like a super rush, and that just didn't work out because it was so fast. And I was actually trying to be more traditional Christian husband, and that ended up not working. So I was like, screw this. I'm just gonna go follow my heart.
Heck yeah. Wow, I'm glad that it worked out. Congrats, man. Really, really cool. And so your family wasn't there?
No.
Wedding? Okay.
Yeah. They're in North Carolina.
Are they supportive?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. When I called back home, and that same mother figure, before I was born, this other family met my family, and they became really good friends. And then my biological mom, bless her heart, seriously, not Southern fuck you, but actual bless her heart, was doing her best as a mother, as a wife. She didn't know how to love herself, and she didn't know really how to give love to us kids.
Okay.
But this other lady from this other family has been a mother figure, and when I told her about Jen after the divorce and whatever, she just said, I just got this feeling, the Holy Spirit's saying that she's the one, she's going to be so good for you.
That chicken skin, it's so cute.
That totally threw me off guard, because in other times where I'd had to discuss, possible romances and loves, it was never quite that encouraging, if encouraging at all. I was like, are you sure, Cliff? Because even after the therapy, I still was kind of like, woo, love, a little wiser going into certain things. But it wasn't until I kind of cast off my old ways of thinking and beliefs that I was able to find true love and happiness. Yeah. Ironically enough.
There you go. Oh my gosh.
And
that's awesome.
And things have been great. Not without the rough times, but it's been wonderful. And now we have a wonderful son, and there are days where I just want to kind of wring his chubby little neck, but and I don't mean that literally. There's just moments of frustration where you're like, jeez Louise. But then there are so many more times where it's just like, oh Jesus, little guy is just wonderful. Little bundle of joy.
Congratulations on your beautiful family. I'm looking around at his house right now. Cute little photos. Where is your son now? There's a little collage on the back wall. Later.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thanks.
I definitely see that in my future as well. I definitely want that.
It's
tight-knit family. Lots of yelling and laughter in the house.
Yes. Lots of laughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my cup has stormtroopers.
Yes.
That's great.
I was like, she needs the Rogue One cup. Let's see. What kind of music do you listen to? What do you get down to?
Oh gosh. I'm not huge on listening to music a lot.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, I love musicals, so I listen to musicals when I'm feeling like happy or I'm doing the dishes. And just like that childish throws me back to my childhood, I guess.
Nice.
My little brother is the musically inclined one.
Okay.
And so I think when I listen to music or when I think about my views on music, I'm always held back because I think that he has the better views. I think I'm kind of scarred by that growing up. He's one of those that can listen to a song and then can replicate it right away on the piano.
Oh, wow.
Taught himself how to use the mandolin and can just kind of dive into any instrument and play it.
Wow.
Super talented in that sense. He graduated from Portland State University recently as a composer. Now he's composing for the Blind Pilots, some other like indie rock bands.
Whoa.
And, yeah. So he does the music thing. I guess I'm doing the film thing now.
Hey,
cool.
yeah.
It's kind of big for me to take on such an artistic major because I never thought that was my path. I always thought that was just Richie's path.
Okay.
So it's kind of cool to be myself now.
Yeah.
Not held back by those kind of judgments.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you said your first foray into school was in the sciences. Like which science? Marine science.
Yeah.
Right.
Anthropology.
Okay.
Yeah. Tried to take OChem twice and couldn't pass it. So,
yeah. Hey, sometimes that's the universe saying like, nope, don't go this way.
I don't think I wanted to be a professor or do research my entire life. So I'm really happy that I had the experiences that I did, where now I can, I get to make films for a living, or hopefully I get to.
Yeah.
Even PAing, man. I'm so stoked just to be on set, pass out the waters to the crew.
Yeah.
So cool.
Well, that's a great attitude. Like, you don't have to be in charge.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to have your name on it necessarily.
No.
Just to be a part of something great is wonderful in and of itself.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah. We'll see where it leads me in the next spot. I don't think that LA is in my future, but I'm not ruling it out. Maybe in the next couple years, I might be at that point where I'm ready to check out a bigger city. But, I love it here too much, and I think that Hawaii is getting a lot of good filmmaking opportunities now. So we'll see where it takes me.
Well, it seems like the filmmaking community here has really been blooming.
Yeah.
I first became aware of it last year.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. It feels like forever ago, but I've only been here on island for almost 5 years.
Okay.
But finding the Hawaii Filmmakers Collective, that was the first time I got engaged with the local community. Otherwise, prior to that, I'd only seen like one or two folks on YouTube that were trying stuff. They were, it's great that they're doing something because it was more than I was doing, but it wasn't quite like, it's just kind of like, awesome, cool, you're doing it. That's what matters.
Yeah.
But then finding this whole big community of actors and cinematographers, wannabe directors, producers, and for the first time, I felt like I was getting in touch with my people. And then since then, becoming aware of more projects, and as more projects come along, they're getting larger in scale. And like with Jana's stuff, she's getting international attention. Not like huge, but still, the Baby Luau is getting featured at the Cambodia Film Festival.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
Cambodia LGBTQ film festival, and the Bridge. Have you heard of the Bridge? I forget who's behind that. I think it's Connie Flores.
Oh, I know who Connie Flores is.
Is she a writer, director, producer?
Yes.
Okay, I think I want to say it's her film. I hope it's her film now that I've put it out there. It might be someone else's. I'm sorry. Yeah. But that's getting a lot of attention worldwide as well. Wow. Yeah. And then the Haumana.
Yes.
We were supposed to watch that in class.
We were supposed to watch that.
Never did. I really want to see that. I met the director like a few months before he passed.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I felt lucky to have had that brief interaction with him, get like a little bit of advice, and then just really like, geez, that lets you know how short life is.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, that's something I kind of see is the filmmaking community here is ripe, and it's like the iron, if it's not hot, is heating up.
Yes,
and it's getting time to strike, and having filmmakers here really cultivate that is fantastic. And getting stories such as the ones you want to tell out there do the world a great service.
Gosh, I'm excited to be a part of it. It's
Yeah.
such a hot time.
Yeah.
Really, really excited for what's next.
Yeah. So how do you go about finding a crew? Like you had the luxury, I don't mean that condescending or negative, but you had the opportunity because you're in the filmmaking school. So what was it like for you, like picking them out and getting them?
It was really nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Before we actually got started in January, so all of December was kind of me approaching people who I admired and who I wanted to work around. So reaching out to my friends.
Are these other students?
These are all other students.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, in ACM. Sure. And a lot of them were thinking of doing their own 399s and or going to be working on other projects. So some of them it took some convincing, or pitching to them with the same enthusiasm that I pitched it to the faculty.
Yeah.
And then some other 399s didn't work out, and it fell into place so wonderfully. I feel like I chased a couple people. Shout out to Diamond Cabildo. I'm so happy to have you on my team. With her, I reached out to her on Facebook. She had been in a couple of my classes, and I knew how talented she was. I knew that I wanted her on my team. And if you go back to that first Facebook message, I'm like, do you want to edit? Do you want to produce? What do you want to do? I just need you on my team. You know? And then she didn't respond. And a couple weeks later, I reached out to her again. And then I saw her in the media center one day. And I'm like, hey, so I'm walking over eggshells here, but will you be a part of my film? And she's like, oh, yeah, I forgot to write you back. Of course, I'm on board. I'm like, what?
Nice.
This is amazing. So she was my kick-ass producer. I could not have done anything without her. She's got such a bright future ahead, and now she's taken on editing the film as well.
Wow.
She's fantastically talented. All of my team members are so fantastically talented. I'm so blessed. It really just all worked out so well. I don't know if they believed in the script or wanted to work with other people in ACM just as much as I did, but when the crew started really getting together, it was easier to get more and more people involved. And then as pre-production started, we reached out to other classes. We pitched it to the 310 class and the 255 classes, and we asked for more volunteers because what we were trying to do started getting bigger and bigger, and we needed more hands on set. We needed PAs. We needed people to be in charge of craft services and take some responsibilities away from the higher up people on the crew. Wow. So doing that was big. We had about 35 people on our crew. Wow. For just a student film. I was really, really proud of that.
That's awesome.
I mean, I guess that counts the extras for that one day. There's 35 people on our mailing list for the wrap party. That's why I know that number. So if you count like 7 actors, it's that, but a large crew for a student film. I was really, really proud of everyone. And working so hard in the grueling sun.
Oh, yeah.
Alan Davis I talk about a lot, but we shot there for 2 days, and not a cloud in the sky, which is awesome, but terrible for lighting. Oh my God. But location, amazing. But the parking lot is 10 minutes away from the location. Oy. We weren't able to get the key to the gate, which would allow us to drive down to the beach. So we had to carry like 2 vans worth of equipment down the rocky road and to the beach, which just walking takes 10 to 15 minutes. So with tents, chairs, tables, and that's just base camp. Yeah. The Ari Alexa alone has like 5 Pelican cases full of different things. So we rented out a couple of carts, but that doesn't do much because it's still a heavy cart going over rocky ground. So shout out to my awesome crew. It's really, really lucky.
Yeah.
Those are some brutal days. We really appreciated the other days where we could just drive right up to set and unload right there.
No doubt.
Yeah. We've been through some hell.
Yeah. Earlier I mentioned asked how do you get, actors to act? How do you get them to do that? But then on the other side of it, how do you get people to believe in your vision and help you make it and be willing to lug the stuff around and endure the long shooting days and stuff? Yeah. It's a crazy process. Yeah. Being positive and really believing in what you're doing goes a long way. And so there was no negativity on our set. Nice. There were times where we did get really stressed out. The Taiko Day in particular stands out because we only had the Taiko performers for 4 hours. And on that day, we ran into a technical problem with one of our cameras. Oh, no. Part of our equipment didn't come with the right cord, and so we ended up starting 2 hours late, so we only had the Taiko for 2 hours, and the tensions were really high, but we were all reminded that this is all a learning experience, and we're all here together. We're going to make this happen. We got the shots that we needed, and by the end of it was just a huge sigh of relief, like we did it. Nice. So being there for each other, and I mean, it was spring break, so it was a bit asking them to take off their vacation to work. But I think we're all in ACM because we like being on set and we like making films. So it's something that I can't wait to do again, and I wouldn't have traded it for anything. Woke up at 4:30 every morning to grab equipment and take it places, and then didn't go to bed till 11.
if I could go to bed.
Wow.
But it's just so fun. So stressful and so fun. And so like you need to be places at all time. And I think I like that when my mind is preoccupied and you're really just thinking about that one goal, that single-minded focus. This really pushes me.
Yeah, it's obviously had a clear vision for the story.
Yeah. I'm really lucky that my group members were able. They felt comfortable enough around me because we had taken many classes together and really knew a lot about each other, and so the collaboration on the storytelling was strong. I mean, they asked questions to me that I was able to answer or find the answer for them, and that made us tell a more clear story rather than just shooting what was in my head and maybe didn't make sense. So having a team that you trust and are close with and that know you inside and out, it really goes a long way. Half of my team, if not more than half, were also on the Go for Broke 442 film over December. So we got really close on that, and we all learned about how a film set should operate. So that really contributed to it.
Awesome.
We all knew what was going to happen that spring break.
Yeah.
We knew how rough and gritty it would be, but also how fun it would be.
Sure.
You know, how much laughter there was. And gosh.
Nice.
Last day on set, we popped some champagne and just had a nice cheers and took lots of photos. Gosh, it's really great time.
Awesome.
Really proud of what we did.
Cool. Just curious. Wow, we're at an hour and a half.
Oh wow!
Already.
It just goes by so fast.
I know.
Yeah. It's been so fun.
Yeah, I love sitting down and talking with people, and you know, like my whole thing is like we all have stories to tell.
Yeah.
We all benefit from hearing and telling stories.
Yep.
And so
Amen.
I'm like, I finally got just the kick in the pants, the inner motivation. I was like, let's just do this.
Just do it. Yeah. I don't know what's been holding me back. Ever since I started listening to Nerdist and Pete Holmes, I've been like, I gotta start a podcast. My friends are so interesting.
Yeah.
And so thank you for asking me to be on yours, because it's like dream come true. I've got earphones on. I've got a microphone ahead of me. But I think the more I do it, the more I talk, I'm like, the more comfortable I'll be telling the stories that I have to tell, or getting the stories out of people that I want them to tell. And really, really cool. And just to do it. I think that a lot of us hold ourselves back because we don't think we can get to that big Hollywood level, like filmmaking or with podcasting or really anything, whether you want to be like a rapper or slam poet. Like just doing it for your local community or for anyone's ears is enough. Yeah. I was so proud just to screen Hele Kalei in front of 20 people. That could be enough. You know, we're gonna shoot higher, but
Honestly, I'm sure that'll get into HIF.
I hope so. Yeah.
So you're doing that just as your own production, not as part of the ACM student thing.
Totally copyrighted under me.
Wow.
Yeah. It's cool that ACM lets us do that, and they don't own the films.
Yeah.
Really
well, isn't there an ACM component to HIF?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
I see. No, I'll be submitting under ACM probably. I mean, although, probably under ACM. Okay. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Anne about that.
Sure.
Yeah. Because that would be a cool credit. Say I wasn't under the student film section. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's for later.
Wow.
It's gonna be great. I wish I could take it to Shanghai and screen it there at that film festival, but unfortunately it was done a week after the deadline. And it couldn't have been finished in time. We binge edited 72 hours straight before the showcase deadline. So
wow.
we just got it in the nick of time.
Nice.
We're so happy to be able to screen it even in the rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it shot in 4K or HD?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned it's pretty high-end cameras.
It's a great camera. Yeah. All the cameras we use the Scarlet Red and the Arri Alexa. We use the Blackmagic for one day, and then the A7S, which are also high-end cameras. The Arri, though, was we were really fortunate to get to use because ACM has this wonderful camera, and you have to go through, I think, 3 levels of testing just to be able to apply to use it.
Wow.
Even if you pass those 3 levels, you have to write a proposal, which is submitted to faculty, which is submitted to the chair, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through. So Sawyer Chestnut Pinto, my fabulous JP, and his team of ACs, Kilani and Chase, they worked so hard from the beginning of the semester through till March to get certified, and and really aced the camera work.
Wow.
It was huge ordeal, man. Huge ordeal for every level of putting Hele Kalei together.
Nice.
Not just me and Diamond with the pre-production side, but for Nella to be designing the sets from such an early stage, starting in January, and my wonderful camera team. I had an awesome gaffer, Delilah. It was just so great to have people there that you trust. Really cool.
Yeah, and just going through all that stuff, I think shows in the final product, and it shows your dedication to the film, because at any given point you could just be like, screw it, and just do it on your own stuff, or whatever. But instead, you trusted in the process, and a big group of people. Because it takes a village to raise a film baby.
That's right. Putting in the time, I mean, it's not something that you can just say F it to. You have to put in that time. And gosh, my assistant director, the Anela Ling, she just wanted to strangle me and Sawyer so many times, just because we always wanted another take, because we knew that we could get it better, or wanted things to work with in editing. So I would talk to the actors and have them change the way they read their lines just slightly, so I could have things to play with. And gosh, we were close to running over so many times, but at the end of the day, every single day, we got the shots that we needed, and we finished, just in the nick of time, if not early. So just hats off to her for pushing us. We needed that, and I needed her personality and the way that she knows me and Sawyer so well, that she can be ruthless with us and screaming at us that, no, you do not get another chance to get another take. We are moving on. It's really, really lucky.
Awesome.
Lucky with everyone.
Yeah. Are there any filmmakers you look up to as inspirations or role models?
Ooh,
we talked a lot about Wes Anderson.
Besides Wes Anderson, besides at that Hollywood level, I would Tina Fey is popping out.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. I always call Anela my Amy Poehler to my Tina Fey. Like, I would love to do some sort of duo comedy writing with her at some point in our life. I think we could really kick butt at that.
30 Rock or Kimmy Schmidt fan?
Guaranteed. Yes, I'm glad that you bring up Kimmy Schmidt, because not a lot of people know of that show.
Freaking love that.
God, it's so good. Titus. Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, 30 Rock's the best. Parks and Rec. I want to enter that world so bad. One day.
Or do you want to do a mockumentary series, or just you mean just the Hollywood thing in general? Or?
Just the Hollywood comedy scene. But I think a mockumentary would be awesome too. In the 410 class that I took last semester, Keelani directed a mockumentary that I was able to produce. It's called One with Nature.
Okay.
It's about a nature artist who is a little convoluted in his views on how he creates his art. He takes things like baby birds' eggs and scrambles them and then puts them back into a nest. He calls that art. It came out hilarious. It's so great. So I would love to make another mockumentary for sure. Actually, John Gilmore was on that set too. And Josh Masai.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Characters in ACM.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a fun one.
Right on.
The more classes that you take in ACM, the more you get to know the people in it, and you get to know their interests and how well you work together. It's a really well-designed program in that it's small and it makes you work with these people, and kind of gets you out of your shell by the end of it, because you're kind of forced to let your true self show. Rather than on a bigger campus and a bigger film school, I think it would have been up to me to come out of my shell rather than being around these people all the time and kind of forced to be myself.
Yeah.
Really, really lucky.
Yeah, that's something I've struggled with, is in my previous attempts at filmmaking, is just even conceiving the notion that I could get a crew, let alone just having the guts to say, hey, can you help me out, without them necessarily being in front of the camera. So something I'm really looking forward to.
It's possible, man. I never thought that I could do it, but then I just tried. Just reaching out to that one person leads to another, and set your expectations, or set your sights high, and you never know what you could do. Really. I'm really, really stoked with how everything turned out, and can't wait to do it again.
Nice.
Can't wait.
Cool. Well, that's everything I've actually written down on this little pad here.
This was super fun. Cutting it close.
Yeah, I guess I don't really have anything else, and that's a really nice endpoint. Just, you never know what you can do.
Never know what you can do.
Yeah,
Just gotta try.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for being on.
Such a fun experience.
Yeah, and if I hadn't just happened to glance at, I wasn't looking at your phone, but just I recognized the Nerdist symbol, and you made a weird symbol, and I was like, oh my God!
Totally meant to be. This happened on the last day of class.
I know.
I mean, and I hadn't been listening to podcasts for a while too. It was just that day. My boyfriend took the car to work, so I had to ride the bus.
Oh, okay.
And when I ride the bus, I listen to podcasts.
There you go.
And oh my gosh, we could have gone through our whole lives not knowing that we were weirdos sitting right next to each other in that class. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We didn't even talk about Save the ACM. There's just been. If I knew that you were a weirdo from back then, we would have done this sooner. So cool.
Awesome. Well, cool. I guess that's it. Yeah, I don't have a fun thing to say at the end, keep it crispy.
That's all right. We'll figure that out. Wish me luck with my Hele Kalei
absolutely
journey.
Good luck. So happy for you. So excited to see where you go. And I'd like to think that I'll have the first interview with Kelsie Greene years down the road.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. Cool.
Keep it crispy.
You.
Enjoy your burrito. Ding, 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 ding.
Cool. All right. Thanks once again for joining us here. Cutting It Close with Cliff Bailey is a Phazon Media production. Check us out at phazonmedia.com/cutting. For Kelsie, again, you can follow her on Instagram at Kelsie_KG. That's KELSIE_KG. Or her film account at Hele Kalei Film. That's HELEKALEIFILM. Same on Facebook, Hele Kalei Film. You can follow the pod on Instagram and Twitter at Cutting Close Pod, SoundCloud.com/Cutting It Close, or YouTube, search for Cutting It Close with Cliff Bailey. And whatever platform you're listening to this on, please be sure to like it if you liked it, leave a review if you're so moved, and subscribe if you want to keep up with it. Please do consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/Cutting It Close. Every dollar helps to make this a more frequent happening. We're pretty much set up for the next 3 weeks. These first 4 episodes. After that, not so sure. And we'll have to just see what happens. But nevertheless, thank you for listening today. You are greatly appreciated. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your time on this earth.